Thank you very much once more, and greetings, Honorable Chair of Chairs. Let me, on behalf of the MEC Mutara, who is on leave, and wishing good health and the best, and commending her for the excellent work the MEC is doing in the department, allow me to greet the Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Premier, members of EXCO, the Chief Whip, one and only in the House, honorable members, all our guests, the people of our province, and of course the leadership of the department that is here, led by the HOD. Let me also greet the members of the Portfolio Committee on Infrastructure Development. Honorable members, during this Workers' Month, I take this moment to salute the heroic resistance and the tireless struggle of the working class, the proletariat, for massifying the liberation struggle of the people of our country. The workers' march struggles from the 1920s, led by the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, the bitter struggles of mine workers in the 1940s, the militant resistance of SACTU in the 1950s, and the momentous defiance of COSATU against the apartheid state machinery in the workplace and society shall not be erased in our memories. And to the workers I say, Happy Workers' Month. Let me also join the people of our province in conveying our condolences to the family, friends, and comrades of Kompanero Mpomoeran. Honorable members, as you know, the new Growing Gauteng Together GGT 2030 vision and the National Development Plan, NDP, constitute our master plan. Our journey to convert infrastructure development initiatives to restore the past injustices and achieve economic and social transformation is very much critical. This is even more important as we reimagine a new post-COVID-19 economic revitalization of the Gauteng economy and the future. I must say that the department is committed to contributing to the targets set by the provincial government in creating jobs and bringing local suppliers in the construction, maintenance, and property management value chains. It is our intention to do everything possible to deliver projects on time, within budget, and superior quality as prescribed by the built and construction industry. Honorable members, as you know and may agree, one of the thorny issues around infrastructure project delivery in the province has been the cost of delivering projects. We want to address the perception that pricing for project delivery in the department is unreasonably overpriced. This perception suggests that our pricing may be deliberately inflated or either a result of fraudulent and corrupt practices by officials and service providers. To address this serious problem, and the Premier of the province has also raised this matter, and put an end to this challenge, the department has begun a process to commission a comparative study for infrastructure pricing. This study will be conducted by credible, reputable, independent institutions to benchmark pricing on our construction and maintenance projects based on acceptable industry standards. The findings of the study will definitely assist us and all our client departments to take appropriate decisions and corrective actions. I would like to report to the people of our province that we have established an internal infrastructure war room in the department in line with the emergency mode of delivery outlined by the Premier to make sure that we fast-track delivering of planned infrastructure within the 3 performance areas of time, cost, and quality. I must also add quantity of the number of projects that we built. Honorable members, the department is allocated a budget of 3.3 billion, of which the total of 2.6 billion is allocated to public works. A total of 384 million is allocated to administration, and 259 will fund the EPWP, the Expanded Public Works Program. The department has 7 cost drivers, which include rates and taxes, the compensation of employees' property leases, infrastructure projects, EPWP, security services, and soft services. The remaining budget is allocated to other operating costs, which include provision of tools of trade, ICT system, GCAS, and others. An amount of 1.1 billion is allocated for payment of rates and taxes to the municipalities. For infrastructure, rehabilitation and maintenance of public properties, an amount of 132 million has been budgeted for. A total of 402 million has been set aside for leases, whilst 81 million for security services for our very important assets. Honourable members, we do have our 6 priorities: optimized public-owned fixed property portfolio. That is the first one. And in this regard, the department seeks to ensure improved productivity of the government immovable asset portfolio by saving costs, revenue generation, and serve as a catalyst for socio-economic development and commercialization. The department disposed 49 core residential immovable assets amounting to 39 million. The second one, let me also just mention in the first one that the Kopanong Precinct project is now reaching finality in terms of the planning phase. The PPP funding model will enable us to rehabilitate and maintain our 17 inner city buildings. The second key area of performance and outcome is the efficient and effective delivery of smart infrastructure. To this extent, we have a number of 31 social infrastructure projects and 4 capital infrastructure projects that were completed in the previous financial years. And we have got many more projects that have been planned, including the use of alternative building technology. I must say to honourable members, the challenges at Charlotte Maxeke have been adequately addressed. We visited the site with the Minister, Honourable Dr. Pata, where we explained the progress that's been made and where we are. I must assure members the matters of Anglo Gold Ashanti Hospital, myself and the HOD are working very hard daily to deal with the challenges of that issue. And just this coming Monday, we will be having further consultation with the SIU to deal with the issue. I must also say that on the third one, functional, reliable, and compliant infrastructure, we are looking at introducing the green agenda that seeks to take forward our commitments on climate change, particularly our country's commitment to the Paris Agreement targeting 2030. The other important outcome is increased contribution of infrastructure spend to socio-economic development. To this extent, honourable members, I'd like to say in the financial year, the department continued in its overachievement towards black-owned and vulnerable groups such as women, people with disability, youth and military veterans, empowering them with business interventions. Black women-owned enterprises are also part of the empowerment program, and this of course includes people with disabilities. The critical outcome 5, poverty relief and improved employability of EPWP participants. I've already spoken to this matter, but we have set aside programs to empower EPWP. Outcome 6, capable, ethical and developmental state, we are taking measures to make sure that we preserve and protect the public purse, and we're working with relevant institutions. I must say that we're also improving our capacity through automating the IDMS, which is the Infrastructure Delivery Management System, reinvigorating Lutsinga Infrastructure House, applying the project readiness metrics to make sure that our projects do not go back and forth, but move in one single linear way moving forward. Honorable Chair of Chairs, allow me to announce that the Gauteng Infrastructure Investment Summit, which will be led by Premier David Makura, is on its way. I would like to announce that we have appointed our CFO, who will start very soon in June, and we welcome the new CFO
Chairman,
to the department. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. It's now Honorable Fuchs.
Chair, thank you very much. Two of the main contributing factors towards DID's inability to perform is the lack of skill and expertise and the underfunded budget. It's been mentioned by Member Magagula. A balanced and flexible budget worth supporting must contribute towards a medium to long-term vision and must provide hope to citizens that the future will be better than the past. This budget does none of those things. Instead of contributing towards service delivery and job creation, this department has become the poster child of failure, wastage and mismanagement. The first indication that the budget is underfunded is that less than 30% of the budget is available for productive endeavours after paying expenses such as employee compensation, rates and taxes, leases for accommodation, essential services and accruals from the previous year. It is simply mind-boggling, Chair, that the budget for rates and taxes is 290 million rand less than the projected cost. And what is the proposed solution? Well, the department suggests that we throw ourselves at the mercy of Treasury by requesting additional funding and hope that they can find the money by robbing Peter to pay Paul. Now, we know that hope is not a strategy, so this so-called solution to our financial constraints is not a solution at all. The department maintenance program is at huge risk because of the underfunded budget. As an example, last financial year, only 67% of maintenance projects for health facilities could be completed, Member Mamabolo, while at the same time there was a huge overspend. At Tele Mokharani, the budget was overspent by 376%, the maintenance budget, by 248% at both Steve Biko and Chris Hani Baragwanath, by 186% at George Mukari and 138% at Charlotte Makeke. Not one of our hospitals is totally compliant with health and safety regulations, and there's simply not enough budget to remedy this within the next 5 to 10 years. The budget for goods and services, which is the lifeblood of infrastructure projects, is underfunded by 137 million rand. This is what the department had to say about this shortfall, and I quote, "The allocated budget will not be adequate, and it will impact on the department's performance to achieve set targets on APPs and AOPs and delivering on its core function." There you have it. Underfunded budget prevents the department from meeting its mandate. Now, anybody who supports the budget based on such an admission has clearly given up the battle. Examples of other inputs from the department are that the overall budget allocated does not allow for any personnel recruitment to take place in the current year. A reduction in the budget for machinery and equipment will impact on productivity, and that projects such as Lutsinga House, IDMS review and energy optimization, Member Mamabolo, cannot be undertaken because of an underfunded budget, in case you didn't know. The proposal to request additional funding from Treasury or to roll over accruals from year to year is simply not sustainable and is a sign of desperation. At some point, it will catch up with you. Is it possible that this careless and laissez-faire attitude is borne out by the realization that after the next election, you will no longer be in control of these matters and someone else will have to take responsibility? What is required is a budget reprioritization so that all plans are funded ab initio. Mr. Premier in absentia, you and your comrades over many years have broken this department and you cannot fix it. It is now incumbent on you either to shut it down or at least to put it under administration. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mabala.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. I'm actually disappointed that the acting and former MEC of Infrastructure Development and Property Management is commending MEC Motara for the good work. What good work is he referring to? Because the Premier said in his SOPA speech that the department is underperforming. Madam Chair of Chairs, almost R500 million was spent on refurbishing and renovating Anglo Ashanti. Where is the hospital today? Total waste. And you come here and commend MEC Motara. Come on, Honorable Mamabolo. We have noted that the department received budget allocation of 3.3 billion in the current financial year compared to 3.2 billion for the previous financial year. This constitutes an increase of 1.6%. However, this increase means nothing in the department that fails in its constitutional mandate to ensure that services are provided within the allocated budget. Madam Chair of Chairs, if by the end of fourth quarterly of the previous financial year, the department has not achieved its planned targets for the year, then there is something seriously wrong with this department. During that quarter alone, the department achieved only 22 out of total of 44 planned targets. This means people are sleeping on their jobs, and there is no captain to steer the ship in the right direction. As a result, as the EFF, we cannot support budget vote 15. Nobody in a good state of mind could say the department continues in its effort to maintain formal processes in dealing with irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, while at the same time, fruitless and wasteful expenditure was increased from 5.2 billion to 26.8 million. 5.2 million to 26.8 million on the fourth quarter alone. The irregular expenditure just ballooned to 76.7 million in the same period. This is sheer wastage of public resources. We have on numerous occasions raised our concern about the department being a defendant in various lawsuits. This emanates from claims arising from contractual disputes which have resulted in termination of contracts and failure to pay invoices within the stipulated timeframes. As it stands, the department is sitting on 72 pending legal matters, and their financial implications are still not known. It is of great concern that the department continues to fail when it comes to the completion of projects such as the construction of Brownfisherville Primary School and Finetown Clinic since 2018 and 2019 respectively. The department also failed dismally to renovate the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital after this hospital caught fire. It goes without saying that some of the delays in the completing project is attributed to service providers whose contracts were terminated or who just abandoned the project before completion due to non-payments. We have on numerous occasions that the state's over-reliance on service providers and tenders is a problem to service provision. The only solution will be for the government to establish state construction company to take over the construction, renovation and rehabilitation of government properties. We have a problem with the number of vacant posts within the department, which we believe negatively impacts on the delivery of services. During the last quarter of the previous financial year, there were 531 vacant posts and 10 positions on an acting capacity. Though the department was not clear how many of these vacant posts are regarded as essential posts, but it remains a serious concern that so many posts are still vacant despite the 3.25 billion budget that was allocated to for the 21-22 financial year. It is worth noting that out of 8 departments within the infrastructure budget, half of the departments continue to perform dismally. Programs dismally, and until this department refrains from putting the lives of thousands of government employees in danger by housing them in unsafe buildings, addresses the matter of the 3 firefighters who died while trying to extinguish fires at one of the buildings in Johannesburg CBD due to unsafe buildings, and stop ignoring warnings that government buildings are unsafe and do not comply with health and safety requirements, there will be no tangible change in the infrastructure development of the province. As the EFF, we continue to implore the department to refrain from its unadvisable renting of building and instead call for this ANC-led government to expropriate land and build properties to house government departments. Government will always exist, and it is high time that it owns its buildings instead of empowering capitalists whose main purpose is to maximize profits at taxpayers'
Time up.
expense. The EFF rejects
Time up.
budget vote 15. Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
reject the
Thank you very much, Honorable Mabala. Can we have Honorable Dijagar?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the 16 months since I joined the Gauteng Infrastructure Development Committee, I cannot think of any project that has been completed on time and within budget. Projects like Nukutula, Noordgezicht School, Scarlet Maseke, Anglo-Ashanti Hospital, non-payment of SMMEs, and a failure to create opportunities through expanded public works programs are only some of the reasons why we believe this department is a dismal failure. The GDID has failed to effectively utilize the EPWP program to upskill people with less than half of the targeted work opportunities achieved in the past 4 quarters. This indicates a program operating far below capacity, which will impact this government's ability to make any real dent in the massive unemployment rate of the province. While skills are meant to be a key component of EPWP, it appears this feature is largely ignored with a focus on programs on the quantity rather than quality of work opportunities. While the GDID would like to boast about the thousands of work opportunities it has created, what is not seen is the credible evidence of what impact these EPWP programs have on the long-term livelihoods of the beneficiaries. There appears to be no monitoring mechanisms in place to indicate skills gained and the rise in the employability of participants, or how the failures will be addressed. Poor planning and management of budget have resulted in late payments to municipalities that will impact on the liquidity of municipalities and hinder municipalities to effectively delivering services. According to an opinion piece which appeared in the Witness newspaper, government debt places the viability of municipalities at risk, as it often ends up running into millions of rands while councils are left struggling without the ability to pay for basic supplies like light bulbs and brooms. This op-ed further states that if the financial management regulations dictate that no organ of state should owe a municipality for more than a month, why are the national and provincial treasuries not penalizing those departments and entities for non-compliance? Failure to clamp down on this conduct is tantamount to allowing these government departments to sabotage our municipalities and their ability to deliver services. In 2021, the Gauteng government accepted that millions of rands owed to municipalities for rates and taxes had affected their revenue generation and cash flow position in these municipalities. There is nothing in this budget that will address the timiest payment of municipalities for services received. In fact, this item is underfunded. Madam Speaker, I previously raised the issue of a young entrepreneur, Tswalu Maraleng, who was left to her own devices when the contractor changed their agreement unilaterally. At the time, the MEC said that she and her department cannot interfere. 8 months later, and it was this laissez-faire attitude of a non-caring MEC and her department that led to the GID committee being held hostage at Kopanong Hospital, where SMEs were not paid and the departments of infrastructure and health were unwilling to engage with the SMEs and the contractor. Now, it is true that the contracts were between the contractor and the subcontractors, but indeed, if we are advocating for the upliftment of SMMEs, a caring government would act responsibly and assist the vulnerable.
Time
the
up.
budget is stuck in a world that
Time
no longer
up.
exists. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Now move to Honourable Magagula.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson of Committees. Madam Chairperson of Committees, let me join other comrades who came before me to send our heartfelt condolences to the Mwerane's family for the loss of Comrade Dumpho Mwerane, who once played a vital role to the ANC family and the community of Joburg. May his soul rest in peace. Madam Chairperson of Committees, the Honourable Premier in absentia, members of the Executive Committee, Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honourable members of the Legislature, ladies and gentlemen, and the people of Gauteng at large. Honourable Chairperson of Committees and members of the Legislature, infrastructure is a critical economic catalyst in Gauteng. Hence, the importance of this budget vote debate clearly defines the expectations of the department in this 2022-23 financial year and its achievements. These honourable members, based on our commitment in the GGT 2030, when we stated that infrastructure would be central to advocate delivery of modernized, reindustrialized and integrated economy of Gauteng for economic reconstruction and capable state. This is not just a budget debate, but it is a session to recount how the department ignites its budget allocation for service delivery purposes in the 2022-23 financial year. Madam Chairperson of Committees, on the last ANC Lekgotla in February, we have mandated all deployees to ensure that they work to detect and eliminate waste practices linked to corruption and other elements of mismanagement of funds by building robust systems for detection. Hence, as this House, we welcome the efforts being made by the department to this end, by ensuring the strengthening of the controls on the financial management within the department. These measures will ensure that every rand from the department is directed to the important task of building infrastructure in the Gauteng province. The department budget vote will also focus on building local economy capacity to fast-track the social compact for economic emancipation. The ANC-led government acknowledged that the poverty alleviation, fighting inequality, and unemployment remain at the center of the strategic priorities of the department. The DID has focused on the implementation of job creation initiatives for the previously disadvantaged, vulnerable groups, that is the youth, women, people with disabilities, and the military veterans. The allocation of budget for procurement of goods and services to women-owned companies show a sign that we are on track. This is in line with the SOPA 2022-23 financial year imperative that focuses on revitalization of township economy and empowerment of SMMEs through mainstreaming of women and other previous disadvantaged sectors in the department's procurement processes. We therefore commend the department for that. Honourable members, the department indicated the effort that it has established an audit war room to strengthen accountability by management, ensure that audit action plans are adequate and effective, increase reliability of information reported on AFS and performance information and finalization of audits without delays so that the public funds utilized in an effective manner. This requires that the Department of DID undertake due diligence during planning phases, apply credible prioritization criteria, develop business cases that adequately address all the planning issues, and that the capacity and capability to implement efficiently and effectively be profound to accelerate service delivery to the needy communities. Madam Chairperson, infrastructure is not only directly contributing factor to an improvement in the standard of living for communities. It reduces poverty levels and addresses inequalities, but is also a key driver in creating an environment that is conducive to economic development, growth, and job creation. Over and above the allocated infrastructure budget from Gauteng Provincial Treasury, we'll continue to consider projects that would be ready for delivery on the ground post the tabling of the departmental budget for 22-23 financial year. This is to ensure that greater efficiency on spending is attained and that more and better outputs and outcomes are achieved within few resources. In that regard, one of the ANC Lekgotla resolutions which took place in February this year is to further make a clarion call to enhance access for infrastructure development to encourage and attract the communities on massive poverty alleviation projects within our province for the benefit of poor and working class at large. I therefore congratulate and support the effort of the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management on its budget vote to give more and effective good initiatives to promote and develop infrastructure investment through advancement of national democratic revolution with the intention to move South Africa forward. Therefore, the ANC supports this budget vote. The ANC says asina mona, asina nzondo, say dumisa ANC. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Magagula. I will now call the Honorable MEC to respond to the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairs for the opportunity. I just want to start by saying that, I've really taken pain and time and effort to listen to the opposition benches. I must say that it's very difficult to hear what exactly are they saying. I think, we need help to understand what they're saying. Really, honorable members, it's very much difficult to hear them. For example, Honorable Fuchs spoke about one issue only, one. The whole time he was allocated was just whinging about a problem that we have acknowledged, about budget inadequacies. Government itself, national, in the whole country, has acknowledged the fiscal environment, the difficulties, the challenges. The question, Honorable Fuchs, is, in the light of the challenges and the difficulties that we have in the fiscal environment and low tax base, what will you put on the table as a proposal to manage limited resources with huge tasks? On that, you have got 0 out of 10 because you didn't make any. You just said the budget must be reprioritized. That's what we do. What more? In what way? Do you have some ideas? So you shouldn't come here to just make phraseology, slogans, without anything concrete, honorable folks. You could have just left that 5 minutes. Now we need to, to make sure that we release honorable members. But otherwise, you said one thing only, honorable folks, with due respect to you. Honorable Mabala said one thing only in the main, was just complaining about MEC Mutara. That's all what she said.
No,
I don't remember anything that she said. Honorable Mabala.
The buildings that are not changed.
And then there's
Honorable PJ
honorable,
Powers.
honorable, can we have, can we have order?
No, Honorable PJ Mamabolo. No, you must respect us.
Honorable
You must
Tshaka,
you
I'm
must
not sure
run away from
really
the debate.
also what is it that you were saying, because we have clarified the issue about EPWP, the investments we are making on that, the fact that we are even convening a summit to bring municipalities on board. Because one of the big problems with the EPWP is that the DA-run municipalities, like the one that you helped collapsed in the city of Joburg, are not reporting on EPWP targets. Some of the good programs that the ANC government introduced in the city of Johannesburg for public works programs, Comrade Parks would have given more details on that. You came in and you collapsed those projects. Now you are complaining. No, but I listened to him, sorry. Can the DA member please behave? So most of the EPWP programs, actually you collapsed. You are busy firing people in the city of Johannesburg. And then you come here, you grandstand about EPWP program when you have not said anything substantive. I think that's all what we are getting from the opposition. I think we need better opposition in the next elections so that we can give the people of Gauteng better resources. Now, honorable members, the other issue that I just want to clarify is that the issue that honorable members are raising and the matters that have been raised about the irregular expenditure, fruitless and wasteful, I think those issues have been dealt with by the provincial government because they relate mainly to issues that came out with the procurement of COVID-19, and those matters are being addressed. The issues of automating the delivery process, I just want to correct you, honorable folks. Sometimes it's important when you don't have facts and information to say that you do not know. So the department is going to revitalize its systems to make sure that we can improve the performance of infrastructure. And HOD has actually clarified that issue and confirmed that indeed the department will be improving the Airbus system, which is the property management system, and the one to automate the IDMS, which is the Primavera system, because we acknowledge that those systems are very much important. Now, honorable members, as a gift from me on a Good Friday, I would like to conclude and save you more time. The time is not set, but as a good gesture for the hard work done today, because it's me and your long weekend now. Your weekend. So I'll just conclude by saying, honorable members, globally, the delivery of infrastructure is acknowledged as a challenge, and even in our country. And I would like to emphasize that point. The tipping points of cost, of time, of quality continue to bedevil infrastructure delivery globally. You can even look at reports coming from advanced industrialized countries in the UK, in the US, and many others. Just this week, I was privileged to participate in a workshop on infrastructure delivery in the African continent, and I can assure you that the challenges of infrastructure are not just in this department, not only in the province, but what is exciting is that Premier David Makura, realizing this issue, has set up the infrastructure war room, which we are confident will be able to bring best practices and be able to deal with the challenges of infrastructure in our province and make sure that we can give people productive assets and create jobs and fight poverty and unemployment. To that extent, thanks to the Portfolio Committee, thanks to the HOD and the team, thanks to MEC Mutara, and wishing her good health and best days to come. And we're looking forward to the MEC coming back and continuing with the good work. No department is going to be placed under administration, Honorable Fuchs, because you said so. You can, however, continue to dream. But this department is providing the hardcore of infrastructure in this province that is helping many of our people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you.
We can continue meeting as well.
Now that concludes the business of the day. The next sitting will be on Tuesday, the 24th May 2022. Thank you very much, honorable members.